As a physician, I ask, Speaker, rhetorically, by training and by nature, what does a physician actually do? Well, we engage in both a physical as well as an emotional examination, internal and external, and we try to bring to bear the collective wisdom of the ages. We seek out problems, suffering, the bodily injustices, and wounds of the flesh as well as the soul. And I say to you, Speaker, is that not the same role as that of the legislator? Is the legislature's goal not unlike the goal of the physicians, to bring real and positive change to the body politic, the very catchwords of our government? And that's why, Speaker, and through you to the people of Ontario, I am especially proud as a physician to be part of a government that has brought forth the Commitment to Medicare Act that will outlaw the privatization or the profitization of health care. As we have said, the McGuinty government will pass a Commitment to Medicare Act, enshrining the universal nature of our healthcare system in law and making two-tier, pay-your-way to the front of the line healthcare illegal in this province. As a doctor, sir, for the past 14 years practicing family medicine, dealing with major illnesses and terminal conditions and people who are recovering from both external or self-abuse, I know that illness can be a time of vulnerability and challenge, and that is the very time when our people, our patients, Ontarians and Canadians broadly, should not have to worry about the financial ramifications. And that is why, sir, I am proud to be part of a government that will enshrine into law and extend the principles of the Canada Health Act of comprehensiveness, accessibility, universality, publicly funded, publicly administered, and adding the quality now of accountability. And I'm proud, sir, to be part of a government that will preserve, protect, and defend these principles. I think, as well as a physician, I think that it's very important that we will ensure that it will be an effort of health care and not wealth care, where the citizens of Ontario will be asked only for their health card and not for their credit card. I would like to share for a moment some quick observations from the United States of America. In the same way that we here in Canada have our ESPs for education and our RSPs for retirement funds, I hope the time will not come, as it exists today, sir, in the United States, where we will have an RMSP, a medical savings plans, because as you rightly know, that certain operations, for example, cardiac bypass surgery and its aftercare, can actually bankrupt families. And sir, that is in particular one of the reasons why 40% of the citizenry of the United States has no health care coverage at all.
When it comes to health, our government has the same opinions as the majority of Ontarians. Here, there is no place for a system that only helps people who have money, who can get faster help when it comes to medical treatment. In this session, we are going to introduce a bill to make sure that the future of healthcare will be maintained as it is, and it will not be a two-way healthcare. We will also put in place a reform of first-line medical service and also put in place a medical service for the people who need first-line services by a family doctor. We are going to do a system that's going to get good for us and good for them.
Some comments under the heading of South Asian Canadian or a multicultural Canadian, or for want of another title, a hyphenated Canadian. And Speaker, I'm proud to be part of a country and a province and a city that values and honors and celebrates its diversity. And I think never before has this been more true. Never before has this been more true of this province and the country than of this legislature, with now, for the first time, sir, 8 visible minorities, and in particular 4 South Asians. I'd like to share in total an article that I had the privilege of publishing in the Toronto Star in 1997 during the 50th anniversary of nationhood of the Indian subcontinent, which for me broadly summarizes the mindscape, the intellect and the sentiments of multicultural Canadians from my particular vantage point. And though in the Toronto Star, when it appeared, it was actually titled, "South Asian Canadians Savour the Best of Both Worlds." I think of it now, Speaker, as a rhapsody on multiculturalism. I begin. This August 14th and 15th marked 54 years of nationhood for Pakistan and India. Globally, celebrations are being orchestrated by embassies, professional groups, learned societies, and community associations. Locally, we hyphenated folk, the South Asian Canadians, reflect and give thanks, overeat and reminisce. First, to reaffirm our Canadian content. Though our origins are from the subcontinent, our psyches and allegiances are Canadian. The ties now bind. It took a generation. We have learned to enjoy the snow, not just endure it. We are now alumni of all educational institutions, viscerally attached to the Blue Jays and Raptors. We have learned how to sing national anthems in various languages, English, French, and many Eastern dialects. Put us in an international gathering, and instantly we are ambassadors for Canada. Alongside this love for Canada, however, there remains in us a bond to South Asia, this ideal of the subcontinent, its soaring spirit, masala cuisine, arabesque architecture, draping fashions, love triangle movies, super extended families, and respect-laden values. Every family here shed blood for those countries, and it is a memory not easily erased. Emotions still pull, and the senses still gravitate. So we're often of two minds, and like the dollar-rupee exchange rate, the proportion, one way or the other, is always in flux. Categorizations are dangerous, but here goes. The Canadian influence is secular, commercial, experimental, and bracing. The South Asian wave is spiritual, traditional, poetic, and tropical. The combination, like the mixing of the Gulf Stream and the Atlantic Ocean, creates something new and exhilarating. This synergy, this ability to register from a Can-Asianic perspective, is at once a source of great richness and recurrent struggle. Seeing life through such a prism makes us appreciate afresh and reevaluate all that we hold dear. What is valued most by the expatriate community here is that Canada is a place for education, new beginnings, and the development of talents. All this in a mutually respectful society that honors its multicultural mosaic. Here since the 60s, our first generation came to Canada for those now echoing words, graduate degrees, higher studies. It can perhaps be revealed now that their intention was to graduate, lengthen their name by a few letters, and return home. The unexpected happened, Speaker. Slowly, Canada became home. The education worked. Since children are everything for South Asians, the first generation stayed to give the next one even broader horizons. The community realized that being educated was not just a matter of knowing a few ministry-approved facts. Canada was a way of life, the opportunity to labor in freedom, guarding your religion as you wished, always enticed by a never-ending stream of creature comforts. The heavy push on education has had worthy effects. It turns out, I guess inevitably, that the parents were right. Cultivation of the mind and contributing to society have been the collective enterprise. That's why South Asian Canadians contribute to the old countries, visit often, lead trade delegations, and attend festivals with a vengeance. We transfer technology, participate politically, and share medical advances. Lastly, we pray for progress and peace. Though we have learned to play hockey on ice and not on a field, the South Asian element lingers. We follow the subcontinent's geopolitics and fortunes. We await the fateful notifications announcing the demise of aged relatives left long ago. We hope that with our Canadian vantage, we can contribute to the betterment of those graceful post-colonial lands. They say Canada is a resource-rich country. We think of ourselves as a resource. We are the brains that once drained reached here. It is certainly getting easier to reach out to South Asia, though great challenges remain. The subcontinent has tumbled fast forward into the information age. This is now acting as a creative destruction. The countries are learning what it means to be a web-linked, menu-driven culture. I was surveying, sir, the scenery from atop my grandfather's house in Karachi, Pakistan recently. I counted some 20 satellite dishes within easy view. Strangely, my grandfather's home had 2 dishes pointing in opposite directions. Asking why, I was given the self-evident answer. Son, one's for the East, one's for the West. We want the best of both worlds. Us too. For myself.